1 million tokens through an AI model. Same output, same capability class. 12 times difference. $5 on GPT 5.5 and just 40 cents on DeepSeek V4 Pro. And the cheaper one exists because the US government tried to slow down the Chinese AI. In 2022, the US government blocked Nvidia from selling its most powerful AI chips to China, the H100 and the A100. The stated reason was national security. Can't let China build AI on American hardware. And the H100s were not just fast, they ran on CUDA. CUDA is NVIDIA's software layer released in 2007 that let AI researchers harness GPU parallelism for training neural networks instead of just rendering graphics. Every AI framework ever written assumes CUDA underneath, so losing access to NVIDIA chips meant losing the entire ecosystem built on top of them. So China AI labs were left with Huawei's Ascend chips, no CUDA, and a generation behind hardware. One lab in particular was hit hardest, which was DeepSeek, funded by High Flyer Capital, Chinese quantitative hedge fund. And High Flyer Capital had serious ambitions. They wanted to build a frontier AI model on Huawei hardware. But how would you build a world-class AI model with one hand tied behind your back? Answer to that question is why the number 40 cents exists. But before I get into what they actually did, think about your own product for a second. What model are you calling? Is it GPT 5.5? Then you are paying $5 per million input tokens. What would your unit economics look like if that number dropped to only 40 cents? Keep that number in your head, because what DeepSeek did to get there is not a story about geopolitics. It is a story about what happens when you are forced to be clever, when you are forced through constraints. And DeepSeek definitely had a constraint problem. They couldn't brute force quality with compute, so they engineered around it. And they found two ways to do it. Innovation number one is called mixture of experts. You see, a normal AI model is like a single massive brain. Every question you ask, the whole brain fires all 1.6 trillion parameters every single time. And that is expensive, that is slow. That is why GPT 5.5 costs $5. What DeepSeek did is different. They built a model with 1.6 trillion parameters in total, but only 49 billion are ever active on any single question or query. Think of it as a hospital. When you come with a broken arm, you don't get every specialist in the building running after you. You get the radiologist and the orthopedic surgeon. The rest stay idle. That single architectural decision is a massive part of why inference on DeepSeek is so much cheaper. Innovation number two is multi-head latent attention, or MLA for short. Every AI model has a working memory. Every time you are in a conversation, the model needs to remember everything that's been said up till now. It stores it in something called KV cache, or key value cache. Think of it as like a model scratchpad. The longer the conversation, the bigger the scratchpad. And the bigger the scratchpad, the more GPU memory is required. And the more the GPU memory, the more expensive it gets. DeepSeek's MLA compressed that scratchpad by 90%, which is why DeepSeek can offer a context window of 1 million tokens. That's roughly 750,000 words at prices that make American models look like they are running on gold-plated servers. Now, if you put these two things together, a model that activates only 5% of its parameters for every single query, and a working memory that takes 90% less space, you get a model that does the same thing that GPT 5.5 does at a fraction of cost. But before you switch everything to DeepSeek, there is one more piece of this story, because DeepSeek is not the only one. In March 2026, Google Research published a paper called TurboQuant. It compresses the working memory, that KV cache we just talked about, by 6 times. And it makes attention computing 8 times faster while doing so. And that too without changing the model at all. That efficiency improvement applies to every single open weight model in existence: DeepSeek, Kimi, Llama, all of them. And this connects back to DeepSeek and Huawei in a way I did not expect when I started researching for this video. Because all of this efficiency research, the MoE, MLA, and TurboQuant, was accelerated by the chip ban. That selection pressure produced innovations are now freely available to every AI lab, every open source project, and every founder in the whole world. But with all of this AI spending and all of these models becoming better and better, one question that still remains is better AI leading to better ROI for the end users? Well, it depends, and the data is much more complicated than the press releases like. That's the next video. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.